Chris sighed and went to pick up that bag. Once stepping out from the couch's shadow, the teen saw the towering Lucario putting the couch back down to the floor. He looked at his trainer. Did you find it? Lucario asked. Chris then took out the item from the bag and placed the game in front of him. Yep, I got it, he smiled. Now we can play it. Oh god. We have to do it now before the show starts later, he said. I'm so excited to play this with you. Lucario nodded and looked at the game. Since you were this excited, He stared at the game's case. Huh. The teen raised an eyebrow once he saw Lucario giving the game's box a hard look. Lucario? He said. Lucario, what's wrong? You're glaring at the box. There's something wrong with this game, Lucario said, staring at the box. Wrong? Chris asked, confused. I don't know what it is, but it feels evil. Were you watching TV during the whole night again? I told you not to do that. No, Lucario blushed, shaking his head. But Chris... Through Lucario's eyes, he could see a purple aura coming out from the very box. This Lucario was a master of auras. Unlike the normal Lucario stated in the descriptions, the Herculean Pokemon easily track down auras beyond 100 miles. Not that there is any use to this highly developed sixth sense. Lucario only watched them from afar how Chris's life developed in high school. However, only the living could exclude auras. An item exuding a dark aura was not normal. There is definitely a dark aura on that box, Lucario added, shrugging at the aura, trying to reach out for them. Chris looked worried. Well, I don't really feel anything evil from the box. I believe you, though, he said. But how can an insignificant item like this give out a dark aura? Perhaps we shouldn't put it into the console, Lucario said. I don't want to find out what could happen if something were to come out of it. Chris was used to having a supernatural Pokemon accompany him all the time. It was a half a year ago that they met, but there wasn't anything else besides Lucario that happened until he brought up the unbelievable fact that a game box had a dark aura. That dark aura is red, right? Chris asked. Yes, Lucario said. I'm trying to pierce through it to find out more about its reason to have such thing, but I can't find anything. That's impossible, Chris muttered. You are a master of auras, but you can't discern anything from this? Lucario looked down in shame. I'm sorry, he said. Maybe I need to hone my aura skills even more. No, Chris said, making Lucario look at him. You're a master. There just has to be a good reason behind this box giving you that evil aura. You know what? I think we should just go ahead with this and try it out ourselves, he said. Lucario looked a bit dismayed at the proposal. Maybe you are imagining things. No, I'm not, Lucario said, looking a bit serious. But maybe I'm hallucinating a bit. I mean, this is just a game. Chris forced a smile. Let's go to my room and boot this up, he said. I'm so looking forward to play as a Lucario. Lucario grinned a bit. That makes two of us. Dibs on the blue one. What? I don't like the other palettes. They make my species look silly. As soon as the two debated on choosing the right color palettes, the dark aura that the box contained lingered in the air. Chris's room. Chris's room on the first floor was very clean. The teen, though, was not the one who cleaned it up. It was his dutiful Lucario who took it upon himself to put game cases away on the lower left corner of the room on a pile of ordered stacks of video games, next to the closed closet. The bed on the upper right corner was neatly made up, facing sideways at the HD TV on the upper left corner of the room. The two house residents entered the room. Lucario sat down on the bed as Chris went over to insert the disc inside his Wii. The Aura Pokemon turned the TV on. The box stopped radiating the ominous aura. Lucario could tell, but now the dark aura came from the disc itself. See? Nothing seems evil or something, Chris said as he then inserted the disc inside the Wii. The TV came to life with the friendly warning. Grabbing a nearby Wiimote, Chris went to sit next to Lucario. He moved the pointer over its game channel screen. Seriously, nothing is happening. And then he selected the game screen. Irony was on Lucario's side. As soon as Chris wanted to boot the game, the Wii turned off. Chris remained silent as Lucario looked down at him. I told you before that something isn't right, he said. Huh? Why isn't the game starting? Chris said. You don't really think that the evil aura you saw has something to do with this, right? Lucario nodded as he said, It must be that dark aura's doing. There surely was some logic behind this that didn't involve the dark aura. Chris rubbed his chin as he pondered on the issue. Maybe those rumors about the disc being made as a double-layer disc were true. I think I put my Wii in the wrong place where dust gathers the most. Lucario could see that his trainer didn't want to believe it, so he tried to support the thought. I hope so, Lucario muttered. That's weird, let me check it. Chris approached to the Wii. He approached his right ear to listen to the disc spinning inside. There's a weird sound coming from within the Wii. And suddenly, a purple light came from where the disc slot was. Chris looked at it, and Lucario glared at the light. Hey, what's the big deal here? I never saw mention of a purple light in the manual. He was suddenly pulled back by a growling Lucario. The Aura Pokemon put his trainer under his left arm as he showed his fangs at the light. Lucario, what's wrong? The dark aura is growing, Lucario said. I don't know what's going to happen, but we better brace ourselves. Chris was so unfamiliar to listening to such an order that he looked frightened. But with a Lucario capable of carrying a couch with a single hand, he felt protected. The light shone brightly, and a force pushed Chris back. He was being held by the big Lucario, so he avoided being flung away recklessly. Ugh! Are you all right? Lucario asked, looking down at him. What in the world is happening here? Chris asked in terror as he saw the light illuminating the whole room. Please, don't let it explode, because there are no Wiis in the store. Would you stop minding those things? Lucario asked, enraged. This is very serious. I can't even tell what's going on. At the least, I take care of everything here, Chris said. He was desperately trying to distract himself from the potentially hazardous purple light. Not like you, Mr. I break the Wii remote because I failed to pass the final boss. Suddenly, purple lights came from the disc, and they started to fly in a circle in the middle of the room. Both of them looked shocked at the whole event happening just in the morning. And in their room, Chris looked horrified while Lucario growled menacingly at the lights. Not even the dawn's light coming from the window could overcome the bright, ominous lights. Okay, this is getting pretty insane, Chris said with a gulp. First, my Wii goes nuts. Then, it shines. Then it shoots. Ghosts out? Is this some kind of a new application I had never heard of before? The Aura Pokemon frowned at his trainer's suspicions. I told you, Lucario began as he growled silently at the lights. There is something wrong with it. Surely Lucario could do something useful. Strength was not an option. But perhaps he could manipulate the lights using his aura. Well, do something about those lights. If my parents ever come back and see these abnormalities, what do you think they will say? Chris ordered and asked. Too bad. Why are you saying that? Those lights aren't lights. Those are auras. Okay, good. Now get rid of them. All the purple lights fired to all the video games of Chris's collection and began to glow in a purple aura before fading out. Both of them stared at the games that shone purple from time to time, with the lights having seemingly merged into the stack of games. The intense purple light dimmed down a lot. The two exchanged looks before staring at the collection. Lovely, Chris said with a bored look after his room returned back to its normal color, with the sun's light shining through the window. My game surely got corrupted by purple auras from a new game I just bought from my local store. I'm not getting all of them before the internet either. Lucario groaned with a frown. I told you. Something was wrong with that game you got, Lucario pointed out. And yet you didn't do a thing. Lucario looked ashamed. I'm sorry. The teen would feel guilty just seeing the powerful Lucario look down. Chris's eyes looked apologetic, while his lips formed a small smile. He rubbed Lucario's head with care, making the Aura Pokemon look happy. Unlike other Lucario, this one liked that his trainer groomed him a bit from time to time. It's okay, Chris reassured Lucario. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Maybe you can pull the auras out from the collection. The Aura Pokemon looked at the collection and held out his hands. Chris pulled his hand back and saw the big Lucario glowing with an intense blue aura. Much for their dismay, the purple aura that engulfed the games disappeared as soon as Lucario tried to pull them out. No, Lucario muttered. He didn't sense the auras anymore. And then his intense aura faded away. They got away! Chris looked disappointed as he got up and approached the Wii to examine it. Oh, great, he muttered. It just feels like the time you came to this world, only now it's far worse and confusing. Lucario nodded. But then, he felt a blue aura emanating from the Wii itself. Being familiar with this aura, the Aura Pokemon narrowed his eyes. Back away from that thing, Lucario said. A new aura surfaced. What? Now this Wii has an aura? Chris asked and Lucario nodded. He looked at the Wii with a bored look. Good. This machine may as well be corrupted, heavily corrupted, and my games as well. Lucario, do you know what this means? We have to trash them all to the trash. Lucario asked as he... We have to toss them all to the trash? Lucario asked as he got closer to the video games. I don't want those boxes exploding in midnight if that ever happens, the teen gasped. You back away from those video games now, Chris ordered. I'm not going to get them all one by one. Those are my video games for my entire life as well. They have to be just fine. You're asking that after we saw those auras merging into your collection, Lucario questioned, crossing his arms below his chest spike, sensing the Wii's aura shaking. The Aura Pokemon gasped. Chris, look out! Suddenly, the Wii's disc slot was shining again, but instead of purple, it was a yellow light. The teen gasped and backed away from the yellow light, grabbing his chest as if he was getting a heart attack. His dutiful Lucario went over to shield him. Lucario subconsciously liked the fact that he was protecting his dear trainer during these confusing times. But he shook the thought away. It was far more important to keep Chris safe. Chris looked at the light and groaned loudly. Oh, God. It's seriously messed up this time, he said. Right after, the yellow light vanished. As Chris blinked, confused yet again, Lucario could still see the blue aura engulfing the Wii. The aura is still there, Chris, Lucario said. It'd be best if you don't approach it. Lucario, hand me the phone. Grimacing at the weird order, Lucario looked down at him. Why? I'm calling Nintendo. Give the phone.